The night smelled of wet leaves and gasoline. He was shoving his golf bag into the trunk of her spotless white Tesla, veins bulging in his neck from the effort, though he pretended it was nothing. I stood on the veranda, glass of Merlot in hand, looking at the man I once called my future. My lips parted. "I can't believe you sold our family estate to your secretary for $1. He turned, sweat shining under the porch light, smirk crooked. "Legally, it's hers now." The arrogance in his voice used to draw me in. Now it curdled my stomach. I sipped the wine, the taste dry and bitter on my tongue. My smile was small, hidden. He didn't see it. He never saw anything past his own reflection. What he didn't know, what he couldn't know, was that his secretary wasn't really his. She was mine. My attorney's niece, a law student with a pretty face and a talent for patience. He thought he'd plucked her from anonymity. In truth, I'd set her there, carefully, months before. We met in college, he and I. He was magnetic then, sharp jaw, easy laugh, ambition leaking out of every pore. I wanted to believe in him, in us, and for years I did. He worked late. I made excuses for him. He smelled of perfume that wasn't mine. I washed his shirts anyway. Love makes fools of us all, but betrayal makes monsters. The first time I caught him slipping, an email he forgot to delete, a hotel receipt he left in his jacket pocket, I felt my chest collapse. But I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I folded the evidence into a neat envelope and locked it in my desk. I learned to breathe through silence, to plan. That was the difference between him and me. He acted on impulse. I acted on inevitability. The prenup had been his idea. His father insisted, arrogant old man that he was. They thought it would protect him. They never considered what a woman like me could do with the fine print. Clause 17, infidelity equals forfeiture. Assets, estate, business holdings, gone. All I needed was proof. The secretary was my weapon. I positioned her in his office, let her lean close, laugh at his jokes, mirror the tilt of her head just enough to hook him. He thought he was the predator. He was the prey. The affair began on schedule. She fed me everything. Texts, receipts, whispered promises he made in parking lots. She recorded the way he bragged about selling the estate under my nose. Every word was a nail in his coffin. So tonight, when he gloated, when he thought he'd won, I let him. That was the final act. "Legally, it's hers now," he sneered. I swirled the wine in my glass, the liquid catching the light. "You always did like giving things away that weren't yours." He frowned, half turning toward me. "What's that supposed to mean?" I stepped closer, heels clicking against the stone. "It means the estate was never really yours to sell. And I tipped my glass toward the Tesla, where the secretary sat pretending to scroll through her phone, "she's not yours either." Confusion flickered across his face, then suspicion, then the first bloom of panic. "What the hell are you talking about?" I set my glass down on the railing, slow, deliberate. Clause 17. You remember, don't you? Infidelity. Forfeiture. His mouth opened. Nothing came out. "You've forfeited everything," I whispered. "The estate, the accounts, even the company. All of it's mine now. And your secretary? She's been feeding me evidence since day one. She's my attorney's niece." The silence was perfect, heavy, absolute. He staggered a step back, bumping the Tesla. His clubs clattered inside the trunk. "You set me up," he said, voice cracking. "No," I said, "you set yourself up. I just gave you the rope." The weeks that followed were clinical, almost cold. He fought, of course, hired lawyers, shouted in court, threw tantrums that would have embarrassed a child. None of it mattered. The evidence was iron. Every lie he told unraveled in the face of signed receipts, messages, recordings. The judge barely hid her disdain. In the end, he left the courtroom with nothing but the clothes on his back and the faint stench of desperation clinging to him. I left with the estate, the accounts, the company, everything he thought he could cheat from me. Now, when I walk through the halls of the estate, the ones he tried to steal, I feel no sadness, no longing, just silence, sweet and deserved. Sometimes I picture him, alone in some rented apartment, staring at walls he doesn't own. Maybe he still plays golf, clinging to the one luxury he can afford. Maybe he drinks cheap whiskey and dreams of a comeback that will never come. It doesn't matter, because I won. And not by screaming, not by begging, but by waiting, by watching, by letting him fall into a trap he built with his own arrogance. Justice doesn't always come in fire and fury. Sometimes it comes in silence, with a smile hidden behind a glass of wine. And I've never tasted anything sweeter.